Good afternoon and welcome to OGTV News at noon. I am Olayinka Shodunke. In a bid to put a stop to farmers' herders clashes, the Joint Security Intervention Squad has been launched in Ogun State by Governor Dapo Abiodun. The state governor also assured that the squad will relieve the full complement of Amotekun, which will soon birth in Ogun, while cautioning on the dangers of fake news to national security. Tunde Olaniro reports.
I have the honor and privilege to commission these vehicles and motorcycles to the glory of God and to the use of the Joint Security Task Force for the affected areas of the farmer herders crisis.
The commissioning of the Joint Security Intervention Squad was part of the agreement reached at the stakeholders meeting organized by the state government on the farmers' herdsmen crisis.
I must emphasize that this particular task force is for those 3 local government areas that are currently affected by this crisis. The task force operations is going to extend across the length and breadth of the state, particularly in areas where you have this kind of crisis.
The squad comprises the military, police, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, among others.
This incident is beginning to take an ethnic coloration, which is a misrepresentation. A crime is a crime, regardless of who commits it. We should not ascribe a crime to a particular ethnic group. What we noticed when we were in the area is that the cellular phone network in that area is very scanty. By the time you leave Papalanto, as you begin to head to Ilaro, you begin to see that, there's hardly any network on your phone. By the time you get to Egua and Kitu, your phone begins to roam to Benin Republic. So you find out that our people in that place may even have a hard time making distress calls when they are under siege. But this administration has immediately taken it upon ourselves to resolve that. We've spoken and met with the telcos. We will soon be deploying masts to that area to give that area the required cellular telephone coverage that is needed.
The governor observed that the trend of fake news is becoming worrisome and not good for the security of the nation.
People have this preoccupation of sharing news that they consider sensational without authenticating, the genuineness of this news. There are videos that we've seen that didn't even happen in Nigeria that people claim to be happening in Ogun State. We're working with our Ministry of Justice to ensure that we have a law in place that provides for punitive, very serious punitive measures against people that are caught propagating fake news because they are threatening the peace of our country.
The provision of the security equipment is just the first batch of many to come, according to Prince Dr. Abiodun.
In the last 1 week, we've been inundated with calls and news that our citizens have become refugees in a neighboring country. In fact, one of the fake news specified that there are 5,000 Ogun State indigenes that are in Benin Republic. And I said to them that 5,000, how can 5,000 Ogun State indigenes enter another country and it would have become a diplomatic issue between that country and Nigeria? Why would 5,000 Ogun State indigenes prefer to go to another country when they can come to Ilaro or come to Abeokuta?
The Commissioner of Police in the state assured the people of the state of their safety.
And to assure you that we'll put these vehicles to optimal use, and that to remind our people out there that yes, if they were in doubt that the government was not serious about having to ensure that they continue to live together peacefully, at least with this intervention, they can rest assured that the government is serious.
Other resolutions at the stakeholders meeting that has already been implemented include the setting up of peacekeeping committee as well as distribution of palliative to victims of the conflict. Tunde Olaniro, OGTV News.
Ogun State government will continue to sustain its policy on investors-friendly business environment to shore up its industrial profile. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun made the declaration while receiving the management of Mikano International Limited in his office. More in this report by Tunde Olaniro.
The vision of the current administration in Ogun State is to create a focused and qualitative governance while creating the enabling environment for a public-private sector partnership, which is fundamental to the economic growth of the state and individual prosperity of the people. To achieve this, the current administration established various agencies and policies, including the establishment of the State Enterprise Development Agency to strengthen small and medium-scale enterprises and boost their capacity. The Ogun State Investment Promotion Agency was also set up to provide a one-stop shop and eliminate unnecessary delay in processing necessary documents, while the Public-Private Sector Partnership Office has also been established to ensure that the state has a template, transparent and accessible. All these are fast-yielding fruits, with Mikano International Limited seeking to spread its business tentacles in the state.
We are looking also to get another land and to increase our investment in Ogun State. Really, we thank you very much for the time and for the help we are getting from His Excellency and his government.
The governor described his administration in the state in one word: a business-friendly administration.
And assure you that this administration is an investor-friendly administration. As a matter of fact, our vision is very specific and targeted towards bringing in investors and creating an enabling environment for investors in the state.
He stressed that all the programs and projects of the current administration are aimed at making living and doing business in the state a pleasurable one.
Get our attention. We will look forward to partnering with you. Be rest assured about that. Again, like I said, anything that we can do to make the state more conducive to people like yourself, be rest assured that we'll do that. And we started by, what we did was, we encapsulated our developmental pillars around an acronym we called SHARE, which is I for infrastructure, S for social well-being and welfare, E for education, Y for empowering and job creation, and A for agriculture. So that is how we see our developmental plan in the state. And what will concern you most is the infrastructure. I'm sure when you are coming from the interchange, you said that we're already working on the Shagamu to Abeokuta Expressway. What you saw there, we are doing across the length and breadth of the state.
The company presented the state government with cartons of disposable face masks and a brand new pickup vehicle assembled in their factory in Ogun State. Tunde Olaniro, OGTV News.
Ogun State House of Assembly has constituted an ad hoc committee to investigate allegations of gross misconduct levied against the Deputy Speaker, Oludare Kadiri, while the committee is to submit its findings within 72 hours in line with the Assembly's standing order. The Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, who presided over the plenary held at the Assembly complex in Abeokuta, announced that the Majority Leader, Honorable Yusuf Sharif, as the chairman. Correspondent Kolawole Osho covered the plenary. Details of his report are presented in this package.
The constitution of the committee by the Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, followed the adoption of the report on the notice for removal of the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Oludare Kadiri, from office for alleged gross misconduct, as presented by the Clerk and Head of Legislative Services, Mr. Deji Adeyemo, through a motion moved by Honorable Akim Balogun, seconded by Adegoke Adeyanju, with the support of all other lawmakers. The committee was thereafter ratified after a motion moved by Honorable Damilola Shuneye, seconded by Sikirat Ajibola, and unanimously supported by other lawmakers through a voice vote.
Having consulted with other principal officers, I hereby set up this committee to investigate the issues raised against the Deputy Speaker alongside his response. They are Honorable Yusuf Abiodun, Chairman, Honorable Abdul Olatunjoye, Member, Honorable Latifat Bolade Ajayi, Member, Honorable Adeyemi Ademiwa, Member, and Honorable Modupe Olukepo Mujota, Member. Mr. Okon will be the Secretary of the Committee. The Act Committee shall within 72 hours report its finding to this House as so ordered.
Earlier, while presenting the report, Mr. Adeyemo stated that on Thursday, 25th February 2021, he received a letter titled Notice for Removal of the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Dare Kadiri, from office for alleged gross misconduct and was endorsed by 20 honorable members. He said in consonance with the provisions of Order 2, Rule 11.1 of the Standing Orders of the House, the notice was served on the Deputy Speaker of the House, Honorable Dare Kadiri, on Friday, 26 February 2021, to meet the deadline of 24 hours, and his response was received early hour of Monday, 1st of March 2021, to fulfill the 72 hours period provided for the response on Order 2, Rule 11.2.
Having received the response, the Deputy Speaker was subsequently served with a letter directing him to stand down from plenary sessions of the House forthwith until he is acquitted of the charges as provided in Order 2, Rule 11.3.
In other development, the Assembly has confirmed the appointment of Governor Dapo Abiodun's nominees for the post of chairman and members of the State Independent Electoral Commission, OCSEC, having found them eligible and suitable to assume the exalted offices being nominated for by the governor. The approval was sequel to the adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House, chaired by Speaker Oluomo, as presented by the Majority Leader, Yusuf Sharif, who also moved the motion for its adoption, and seconded by Honorable Bolanle Ajayi.
By the adoption of this report, I hereby confirm on behalf of this House the nomination of the members of the State Independent Electoral Commission for this year as follows. Mr. Babatunde Adetono Oshiboju, Chairman, confirmed. Mr. Olatunji Kakoli, Member, confirmed. Mr. Tajuddin Shoyeolu Omolaja, Member, confirmed. Mr. Yodele Ebankole, Member, confirmed. Mrs. Gbemi Onosanya, Member, confirmed.
It will be recalled that the Assembly had earlier screened the nominees with an admonition to them to further strengthen the nation's electoral process at the local level.
The federal government has taken delivery of 3,924 doses of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines against COVID-19 from the COVAX facility. Report says that the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman, PTF, Boss Mustafa, received the consignment on behalf of the federal government and through the Ministry of Health handed them over to the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency for onward certification by NAFDAC. The presidential task force on COVID-19 received the first phase of vaccines with excitement, describing the arrival as a milestone achievement in the national response to COVID-19 pandemic in the country. International partners and other stakeholders acknowledge President Muhammadu Buhari for effective deployment of resources as well as commended both international and domestic collaborations for successful acquisition of the vaccines. The National Healthcare Development Agency and NAFDAC assured Nigerians of adequate revalidation of the vaccines and prompt commencement of vaccination. On the foreign scene, Texas will lift mask requirements and allow businesses to reopen at full capacity next week. Governor Craig Abbott has announced Texas is the largest U.S. state to end its mask mandate. Mr. Abbott had faced criticism from its party over the measure, which was imposed last July. But the administration of U.S. President Joe Biden has made it clear coronavirus restrictions are still necessary. The announcement in Texas came as similar rules were lifted in other states, including Michigan, Louisiana, and Mississippi, which also ended its mask mandate. In sports, the appeal by Confederation of African Football President Ahmed against his 5-year ban from football by FIFA has begun at the Court of Arbitration for Sports in Switzerland. Ahmed is open to overturn the ban in a bid to be registered for next week's CAF presidential elections. The 61-year-old from Madagascar, who overthrew long-standing CAF ruler Issa Hayatou in 2017, was banned in November after football's world governing body adjourned him to have breached several of its ethics codes. And now to end the news at noon, you learn more from failure than from success. Also, don't forget that you can watch us live on these platforms: Apple, Roku, Facebook, and Android devices. You can also watch us live on our website, which is www.ogtv.com.ng/live, or by email info@ogtv.com.ng. And that's our news at noon. Thank you very much for watching.